Shalom, 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 Yasha Allah. This your boy, Brother Shama Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called Crash the System and Start Anew. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say Halal, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. Right, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have ruled well to the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. All right. Like I said, today's lesson is going to be Crash the System and Start Anew. All right. And this is from CBS News. It says China hikes tariffs on U.S. goods at 84% as EU also hits back. So China said it is raising its tariffs on U.S. products to 84%, up from its previously announced 34% after President Trump's import duties on Chinese goods went into effect today at a rate of 104%. Mr. Trump's board-based tariffs, which apply to imports of almost every nation, kicked in after midnight Eastern time in the U.S. China announced signals Beijing isn't backing down in a global trade war sparked by Trump. April 2nd decision to levy so-called reciprocal tariffs on almost every nation. In response to the announcement, China said it would counter by placing the same duty, 34% at a time, on the U.S. imports, which prompted Trump to slap another 50% tariff on Chinese imports. It says together with previously announced tariffs, Trump has raised the total tariff rate on China-made products to 104%, a fee that will be paid by U.S. companies that import products from China. These companies are likely to pass on the cost of all or some of the import duties to American consumers, hiking prices on everything from iPhones to clothing made in China, according to experts. So you see, right? I mean, we get a lot of stuff from China. All right. So, and what does your boy Nero say? Well, just bear with it. You'll be good. Right? While people are already struggling right now to find, their way. Right? And this is just going to increase. And this is why we say it's not going to get better. Right? It's only going to get worse from here. All right. But ultimately, they're trying to crash this system so they can do what? Start the NWO. Right? Revelation 13 and 16. All right. It says, let's see. Wednesday's newest measures from Beijing include adding 11 American companies to so-called unreliable entities that would bar Chinese companies from selling them dual-use goods. Among the companies are American Photonics, Synexus, both of whom work with the American military. So far, China has not appeared interested in bargaining. If the U.S. truly wants to resolve issues through dialogue and negotiations, it should adopt an attitude of equality, respect, and mutual benefit, said the Minister of Foreign Affairs spokesman Lin Jin Wednesday. It says China was the third largest export market for the U.S. in 2023, following Canada and Mexico, with 145 billion in goods shipped to Asia, to the Asian nation that year, according to the U.S.-China Business Council. Oilseeds, grains are the top exports that the U.S. sends to China, followed by oil and gas. It says EU also hitting back. Separately, the European Union on Wednesday announced its own retaliatory measures against the U.S. The 27-country trading bloc announced tariffs on more than 22 billion in the U.S. products, including soybeans, motorcycles, and beauty products, according to the AFP. The EU considers U.S. tariffs unjustified and damaging, cause economic harm to both sides, as well as global economy. The European Commission said in a statement after the EU member states approved the measure. The Trump administration has imposed a 25% tariffs on vehicles imported from the EU, along with a 20% receptacle levy. All right. So, hey, everybody, right, is all getting involved, and nobody's backing down, right? Nobody's backing down in this thing, and this is why we say that, hey, these things are, this is all part of prophecy, man. All this stuff is happening, in Lord's will. So crash the system, and they'll have to bring in the MOTB. All right. 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse number 22. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. All right. Why? Because of this trade war, because of the tariffs, because of these different things. All right. And then the prices are going to be shooting up. Right. And you already got people panicking, and then what more? Remember what happened when the sea thing happened, where everybody was jumping, buying stuff, and then things were sold out. And then, the cost of everything, what was it? Hand sanitizer, skyrocketed. People were selling on eBay, right? These are the things people are going to start panicking and different things. All right. For the cost of goods, right? And we receive a lot of goods, right? The U.S. Takes in a lot of goods from other countries, especially from China. All right. And trying to lowball and try to bully something, and they're not backing down at this point. All right. There's no more backing down. Okay. And this is the thing, it says, let's see, let's read on, right? It says, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall suddenly be afraid. And says, at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. Right. And you see that about to happen. Like you had this place greatly divided already with, with Nero in charge. Right. You had the Democrats and Republicans. Right. And you see how divided, just that whole thing is. We know that a kingdom divided cannot stand. OK, now what more now? This guy's is ruling, and he's putting all these different things, and he's telling you to hey, just bear with it, take the medicine, but ultimately then you can't feed your family. You can't do this. You can't do that. Right. And people are going to be this, people are going to get very carnal. Right. They're going to get very carnal, and they're going to be fighting against each other. All right. For what? For basic necessities. All right, that have skyrocketed. These are the type of things that are coming, right? It tells you famine and death. All these things were created. All right, and this stuff is about to kick off. All right, Lord's will. He keeps going. Right, the Lord continues to put the Spirit upon this man to keep pushing these prophecies, and ultimately up to the MOTB. All right, Revelation 13:16. It says, at that time shall friends fight one against another. It says like enemies. All right. You got bread and I don't, folks gonna get real carnal about it. And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs and the fountains shall stand still. And in 3 hours they shall not run. All right. Because we know too, hey, like I said, all hell's gonna be breaking loose, man. Right. When people can't feed their families, right? People gonna be trying to search. And then you're going to have the men of the Lord who's like, yep, told you so, right? And then they're going to be looking for them, right? You have the famine. You have famine of the word. You have all these things that are Jacob's trouble, man, is right around the corner. Look at this. So you talk about, these tariffs, and I did a lesson a while back, Eve, hey, your weave, right? Your hair, hey, you're going to be paying double, triple for that, You're going to be paying a whole lot more for that. All right. These are the different things that are coming. Right. And see, Jake and Eve, they don't really care about it until it starts affecting them. Well, it's about to hit home, man. This stuff is about to hit home. All right, when you can't fill your charger up, you know what I mean? Because the cost is too high, right? Or you gotta make a decision. Damn, do I want some bread, or do I want to put gas in my car? Do I want to do this or I want to do that? All right, because ultimately, they're trying to crash this system so that they can do what? They can implement the MOTB, man. All right, bring in this new world order, man. Right? Let's get that. Let's go to the book of Revelation real quick. Yep, there we go. Already there. Revelation 13 and 16, it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand on their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. All right, and this is, a perfect segue into going. You crash this system, stock market, everything crashing, everybody losing everything. Oh, the great reset. Right? Let's do this. This is what we have for you. Right? Come and get this. Right? Everybody, hey, we're gonna give everybody this amount of money, right? The universal basic income. They've been all these things that they've been talking about, and hey, they're going to start doing this. All this stuff was research, right? The seed thing, right? Talking. They had like different parts. I remember the world where they were doing, the giving people a certain amount of income, right? Because this is all their trials and basis. So when they're getting ready to run this, they already have it in place. All right, they already have you right where they want you to be. All right, and then our people are going to trust, right, in his system, right, and they're going to line up to get this. They're going to line up to get this. Why? Because they want their weave. Right? Because they want to have their fancy car. They want to have their little, nice little house, right? They want to have some, these things of this world, okay? And what great way to do it than to crash this whole system and start anew, all right? And you see, man, you're talking about trillions of dollars, right? Trillions of dollars. The stock is steadily crashing, right? But guess what? People are not backing down. They're not backing down to Babylon anymore, right? The little, pump fakes and all that. Hey, nobody's falling for that no more. All right. This place is going down, and it's not going to be great again. It's just going to be a great destruction, at the end day. All right. So we got to continue to watch out for these things that are coming. All right. And beware. All right. Because they're surely, set to come, right? Let me just get this right. I'm going to close it out. Habakkuk 2 and verse number 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahawah answered and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is for yet an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come, and it will not tarry. Okay? And we see that. We see that happening now. The Lord is working his works, man. Call on Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right. And this is why we tell people that you got to be girded in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi in these last days. All right. Because it's about to get crazier and crazier. All right. So I just wanted to do that quick lesson. Lord's will, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Kohala Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Peace and blessings to the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad. A mighty shalom to the 144,000 men, right? Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, right? Who have ruled well through the spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days. And to the rest of the elect, man, stay diligent, stay focused, right? Put your trust in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, all right? Because this devil is coming down unto you, having a great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time, all right? And with that, I'll say shalom.